All right, today we are going to break down one of the most famous short poems out there, Robert Frost's Dust of Snow. It's tiny, but trust me, it packs a serious punch. So let's just dive right in and see what makes it so special.
Okay, so first things first, let's just hear the poem. No analysis yet, just let the words wash over you. It's only 8 lines, but every single one counts. Here it is. The way a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow from a hemlock tree, has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. Just let that sink in for a second.
So yeah, it's just this tiny little poem, but it has such a huge impact. So how does Frost pull that off? In these next few minutes, we're going to unpack how these 8 simple lines tell a complete, really profound story about change. It's amazing, really. A total masterclass in saying a lot with a little.
Okay, so to really get the big change that happens in this poem, we have to start at the beginning. We need to look at the mood Frost sets up right from the get-go. And spoiler alert, it is not a happy one. He's very deliberate in setting this really gloomy stage.
So let me ask you a question. When you think of birds in poetry, what usually comes to mind? Like, what are the classic poem birds? Just take a second and picture them.
Yeah, you're probably thinking of birds like nightingales or maybe doves, birds that sing beautifully or symbolize peace and love. But what does Frost pick? A crow. A crow! That's a huge choice. Crows are often seen as bad omens, symbols of death and sorrow. And you can bet that's not an accident. Frost is using that dark symbol to paint a picture of gloom right from the very start.
So we've got our gloomy bird, the crow. But what about the setting? Where is this crow hanging out? Well, it's in a hemlock tree, and that adds a whole other layer of darkness to this scene. Do you know what a hemlock tree is?
Right, a hemlock is not your average tree. It's famous for being poisonous. In fact, it's the poison that was famously used to execute the philosopher Socrates way back in ancient Greece. So think about that. Frost didn't put his crow in a beautiful cherry blossom tree or a strong oak. No, he put it in a tree that is literally synonymous with death.
Okay, so let's put the pieces together for this first part. You've got a crow, a classic symbol of sorrow. It's sitting in a hemlock tree, a symbol of poison. Frost is basically layering these negative images on top of each other to perfectly reflect the poet's inner state. He's having a terrible day, full of regret. The outside world matches his inside world.
And just when everything seems as bleak as it can possibly get, something happens. A tiny little thing, but this one small action is the catalyst. It's the moment that changes absolutely everything.
So what's this big, dramatic event? Well, it's not dramatic at all. The crow just moves. It shook down on me, the dust of snow. That's it. It's not an avalanche. It's not even a big clump of snow. It's just a dusting, this light, fine powder that floats down from the branch. It's almost nothing.
So what does this little bit of snow even mean? Well, it's this incredibly simple, totally spontaneous moment in nature. But here's the genius of it. This beautiful, light, pure thing, the snow, comes from 2 really dark sources, the crow and the hemlock tree. It's like finding a little spark of beauty and hope in the middle of a really negative situation.
And that tiny, almost nothing event has this massive, profound effect on the poet. So now let's check out the second half of the poem where we see exactly what that falling snow did to him. It's a total shift from regret to, well, something like relief.
Now, Frost uses a specific word here. He says it was a day he had rued. It's not a word we use a ton anymore, but to rue something means you regret it, like deeply. You're filled with bitterness about it. So before the snow fell, he was basically writing the whole day off as a complete loss.
And you can see the change so clearly here. On the one side, before the snow, you have this bad mood, this day just filled with regret. And then after the snow, boom, a change of mood. And instead of the whole day being a write-off, some part of it is actually saved. It's a perfect before and after picture.
And I absolutely love this next part because it's so realistic. Notice he says it saved some part of the day, not the whole day. This little moment with the snow didn't magically fix everything that went wrong earlier, but it broke that negative spiral. It stopped the regret in its tracks and rescued the rest of the day from being a total waste. That small shift was everything.
All right, so clearly this poem is about more than just a guy getting snowed on by a bird, right? This is where we zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Because like a lot of Frost's poems, this tiny moment is actually pointing to a much, much bigger idea about life.
And hey, we don't even have to guess what he was getting at. Frost himself actually said this. Always, always a larger significance. A little thing touches a larger thing. I mean, come on, that's basically the instruction manual for this poem, right? It's a perfect example of his whole philosophy.
So let's just apply his own rule to the poem. Step 1. A little thing happens. That's the dust of snow falling. Easy enough. Step 2. It touches a larger thing. And what's the larger thing? It's the poet's heart, his entire mood, the rest of his day. See? It's this beautiful, simple chain reaction. That's where all the power comes from.
So, what's the takeaway from all this? What can we learn from these 8 lines? Well, a few big things, really. First, that you should never underestimate the power of small, random moments. They can change everything. Second, that nature has this amazing ability to heal us when we least expect it. And maybe most importantly, that it's always possible to find something positive, something beautiful, even when things feel pretty negative.
And that kind of brings us right back to you. It's what makes a poem that's 100 years old feel like it could have been written yesterday. So I want you to think about it. What's a small dust of snow moment that's happened in your life? You know, that little unexpected thing, maybe a perfect song coming on the radio, or a text from a friend, or just seeing something cool on your walk that totally turned a bad day around. Think about it. It happens all the time.